Howdy, and welcome to the Quad Life. Well, September is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. And as you should know if you've been following me, I've had a spinal cord injury for most of my life. And my level at C23 means I am unable to breathe on my own. At least, not well. So for over 25 years, I used a regular ventilator, and I had tubes with trach and the vent behind me, and the noise of it, along with the battery that always seemed to give out at least opportune time, but it worked. So in 2010, I got an implant for a diaphragm pacemaker. So that means I no longer have tubes, and I just have an implant that has 4 wires in my diaphragm, with 2 on each side and a 5th ground wire. And they come out to a port on the side of my chest, and then they go to a control unit that gives me a breath whether I'm ready to or not. So these all work fine and well. But when you can't breathe on your own, you always want to have backups in case something happens and that one of your technologies is not working for some reason or another, or say if you're on a vent that a tube becomes disconnected, or there are various reasons. And in my lifetime I've experienced quite a few of them. Say when I was a kid, I had a caregiver that put a glass of milk on top of my vent. It accidentally got bumped, and therefore milk got on my vent and in the only opening on the front of it, and then of course it kind of makes the vent so it doesn't work. So in that case I used my Ambu bag or the second vent that I always had on hand. So when I had vents, I had one beside my bed and one on my wheelchair. Muscle spasms are also a part of the quad life, which is why you can see now my neck is stiff. There we go. Now I can move. Maybe. There. So those are good backups. But it is also good for someone that is on a ventilator if they can learn to breathe on their own for at least short periods of time. So I am able to do that, and I think for the first time on at least this camera, I will demonstrate. So Abby here will go ahead and turn off my pacemaker. So now I'm breathing on my own. So you can see my neck, that I suck in air that way, and I take a bunch of small breaths. I just came from outside, so my nose is kind of stuffy, but we also monitor when I do this. So I already have my pulse oximeter hooked up to me because we actually prepared to do this. So I can see it as well as Abby here behind the camera, but I also try to watch my nails on my hands and feet to see if they're getting blue or anything. So this works, but only in good conditions. So I can't be stuffed up. I need to be sitting well, and ideally not talking a lot. So I will go ahead and get turned back on here a second. I can talk a little bit easier. There we go. That's much easier. So I do try to practice breathing somewhat on a regular basis. So like last night, I did my usual routine of at bedtime, I did my night Bible reading. So during that, I'm not doing anything real active. I'm not talking. So I, again, just like we did, had my caregiver turn off my pacemaker and hook me up to my pulse oximeter. And then I breathed on my own for about 10 minutes. And that works, and I don't want to overdo it because it can hurt my trach button as well. And we've been having enough issues with that already. But that is how I breathe on my own. I have heard that is called frog breathing. If you look at a frog and when they ribbit or make noise, you see that their throat moves around. And well, that's basically what I'm doing, is pulling in air using my throat muscles. So I guess you can say I'm a frog, or I'm a bit froggy or green around the gills. I don't know. In any case, I'm not going to start licking up bugs. Might be kind of handy when there's a gnat in front of me to get rid of it, but I'm not that hard up for protein. So that is a part of living the quad life that not a lot of people realize. And so if I practice a lot, then I can build up my stamina, I guess, and be able to use it more in longer periods. There was at one point, my neck keeps getting stiff, so sorry about that. But several years ago, probably around 2005 or so, I got to the point where one day I was able to go on my own for 5 hours. But again, conditions were absolutely perfect. Sitting up in bed, I wasn't stuffy, I wasn't congested, and I wasn't doing a lot of activities that required much exercise or much work, I guess. But another thing that breathing helps me with is exercise or burning calories. For whatever reason lately, when I've been riding my bike, my legs have been kind of lazy, so they haven't been burning much calories. But when I breathe, I can see that my heart rate was up around the 90s, which is higher than my usual of just 60. And so therefore it requires more energy and helps to burn calories that way. So it's a unique way to exercise, but you know, living the quad life has a lot of unique things to it. But that is what I have for this week. I will see you next week, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.